Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are talking about the life cycle of premium ships, or actually this could be the life cycle of ships in general in this game. And I want to really focus on the pre-release portion and what has been the case in like every single ship line or premium ship that just isn't blatantly just god tier when it comes out. So what happens is that a ship gets announced and its stats, of course, are going to change. Very rarely does a ship make it through the entire development cycle up to release date without getting changed. We have some ships like the Leon, which did God knows what before it got released, and then it got released, and it's pretty much the same thing, except in the shells only have to travel around the world once before they get to the target. Before, they had to travel around the world twice because of their shell arcs to get to the target. But the Leon's pretty much the same ship that it was announced as 3 years ago, ironically enough. But it gets announced, and a large portion of the community sees a part of the stats they don't like, and they're either immediately turned off by it, or that's the one stat they're going to watch about the ship. And if that stat so much as changes in the least bit toward the direction that they don't like, the ship is considered utter crap. Now, we saw this happen with the ship you're watching right now, the Palmer, which, by the way, I'm running a full secondary build on the Palmer with Lucian's commander skills, modules, everything. This was a really fun match in the Palmer. Really fun match. I really enjoyed it, even though you'll see what happens. The Palmer, her Sigma got decreased and her reload got increased, and people immediately assumed that she was going to be crap, and for some reason she still carries that reputation despite the ship being pretty well received by just about everybody I see on this platform, reviewer-wise, and most players do enjoy her too, but they're still a very vocal minority. Well, I think they're in the minority at least, that say the ship is utter crap, because she's got 12, 15-inch guns, and they have a 33-second reload time, and she has like a 1.5 Sigma. People just say she's crap, even though Sigma doesn't matter when you're really close in, unless you really get given the finger by RNGesus. And honestly, if you're going to roll that RNG roll on that salvo, it doesn't matter what your Sigma's going to be. But yeah, from like the Palmer's ideal range in, the Sigma really doesn't matter that much, let alone it being a tier 9 ship with 12 guns. Like, people just don't get that for some reason. And it having torpedoes and really good secondaries and all that jazz. And like with the Odin too. The Odin, God, when they swapped her reload time around, people like lost their minds and just said, "Oh nope, it's crap now. It's crap." Despite Odin again being a very good ship, I noticed in my top 5 rank recommendations video, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you didn't mention the Odin. It's fantastic. It's a great ship. It's great for brawling." And it's like, okay, let's go back to my... And I'm not saying the same people are saying this. I'm just saying like how the attitudes seem to have changed at least. Back to my Odin review video, when everyone was like, "I can't believe you're recommending people grind the event for the ship. It's utter crap." Even though I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually a really solid ship. It's got other things to it beside the reload time of the main battery guns, like, and then the caliber of the main battery guns too. Like, it's good. You play it like a super cruiser, and it's good. And people just they just think it's crap because it got changed a bit during testing, and now like with the Italian battleships, people are assuming they're crap. And like I've said before, yeah, the lower tier ones aren't that fantastic, but when you hit tier 8, they really start coming into their own, and the SAP's really good. Like the Lepanto's a really good tier 9 ship. It's very prevalent in clan battles right now because of its tankiness from bow in, and its SAP's ability just to look at a cruiser and make that cruiser forget about wanting to exist. You know, it's pretty good. And now we're in the cycle again with the German destroyers. People are saying because they don't have hydroacoustic search, they're going to be crap. Even though they are cruisers with guns, with cruiser caliber guns that hit like 230mm guns. And they have insane accuracy. Like, they literally have laser accuracy, but because they don't have hydro, people are going to say they're crap, and they're going to get that reputation when they come out, and they're going to be thought of as a crap line. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing for the ships that are being developed and coming out, because if the community thinks they are crap or worthless, then they won't pay them any mind, and they probably won't get many nerfs like the Kremlin did when it came out. Kremlin got a lot of nerfs when it came out, a lot of them very deservingly so because it was a bit too powerful. But now, in my honest opinion, before the Deadeye skill was released, Kremlin was actually on the weaker side in terms of main battery firepower, because if you played Kremlin before the Commander rework came out, you know hitting anything from like 14 kilometers out was a tall order for the Kremlin. And I don't mean like nicking it with 1 or 2 shells, I mean like hitting it with an effective salvo. Yes, it would happen from time to time, but it couldn't regularly hit at 14 kilometers out, and that's a tier 10 battleship that couldn't do that. After all the nerfs that it got, after the dispersion nerf, and again, like, the thing has no AA. Like, I don't know why Wargaming was obsessed with just making carriers the only thing that could really punish the Kremlin at range, because it's got great armor still. It's still a great tank from bow in angled, or even stern out and angled. It's an amazing tank, even though it's, you know, it's got an exposed side like every other big Russian ship in the game. But it's still a good tank from angled. But yeah, I don't know, that was really weird. Like, you can sneeze on it with HE, not even British HE, but like normal HE, and like, up there goes all your AA. That was a really weird decision by Wargaming. But anyway, yeah, so they don't get like as much eyes on them because people just write them off as crap. And again, it's not really bad for the ship. It's just kind of annoying and kind of depressing to see people just like shit all over ships before they even get released. Like, yeah, if you go back and watch the Italian battleship videos, I was like, oh yeah, they nerfed the reload time again, huh? But in my mind, knowing that they're nerfing the reload time, they're not just nerfing the reload time on the guns because, you know, they want the Italian battleships to be bad. They're nerfing the reload time on the guns because the alpha damage per salvo must be absolutely freaking god tier, which it is against cruisers and battleships. Against destroyers, I do believe there can be some improvement with the Italian battleships, for example. But right now, where it sits at, SAP is some of the most powerful ammo in the game when dealing with roughly 70% of the ships you're going to be shooting at in a battleship. Of course, you should shoot at the destroyers, but realistically, during the game, you're going to be shooting at cruisers and battleships most of the time, and with that SAP, you can really punch them. And again, like with the new German DDs, people are just like, the last video I made about the German DD buffs, people are like, that's not a buff, they're losing their hydroacoustic search. How in the world are they supposed to hunt DDs? They're not supposed to hunt DDs, they're supposed to hunt cruisers. And that's why they got smoke and god tier AP. Like, I don't know, it's just like, people loved, and this is true, I mean, this is true of anything. Like, I could have made this video a video just like dumping on Wargaming for something, and it would get like 20,000 views. People love to be negative. They love to hear negative things. They really do. But like, it gets really just weary after a while of just hearing people dump on these ships before they even come out. And yeah, there are a couple of stinkers that do get announced every now and then. You look at the stats, like, yeah, like Anchorage. Anchorage was a pretty decent ship, but it's not that great, you know. It gets Citadel pretty easily. It's got torpedoes. That's pretty cool, but it doesn't have a hill. And, you know, it's a squishy American cruiser at tier 8 with no hill. And yeah, it's not the best ever, but you know, you miss some, you hit some. But yeah, it just gets to you. It really does. And I guess it doesn't help that I do try to read all the comments, and boy, some of the comments are negative around some ships. But the channel, of course, has been growing, so of course I'm reading more and more comments every single day. But I wonder if it's just a symptom of having some really, really just god tier ships out, like the Thunderer, where like it's really hard to do terrible in Thunderer. If something's bow in, you load HE, you just burn it. You can really get away with just spamming HE. I've done it several times and have easily gotten 200,000 damage. Or when you load AP, you still, unless it's really steeply angled, you're going to overmatch a lot of portions of their armor. Unless, again, they're like straight bow on, and you're still going to get pretty good hits out of it in ships like Smolensk, where it's so easy just to rack in all this damage that when a ship that's a little bit more challenging gets released, people just think it's crap. Like Like the Palmer, like sure, yeah, the Palmer, you have to be in the right situation for it to do well, but it can do well if you play it smart, get in the right situation, focus your fire, try to make sure you don't get surrounded like I do here at the end. And I said this back when like the Conqueror was being released, that the ship was so brain dead to play with that super hill and its citadel being below the waterline that you could literally sail broadside on and just continue to just bring in stacks and stacks and stacks of damage while being in a position where you should be punished and then not being punished or being unpunishable because of its citadel and the super hill. And we've gotten, again, several ships since then that are very much the same, to where you can just sit in situations where you kind of really should be punished and you don't get punished, and you can just continue to farm and bring in damage. Like Smolensk, like how many times have we shot a broadside Smolensk, but its armor's so thin, ironically it's some of the best armor at tier 10 if you don't have a well, even some heavy cruisers. A lot of heavy cruisers would frickin' overpin Smolensk when it was broadside because of how frickin' paper thin the armor was. Unless you shot it like directly in the citadel at the waterline to make sure the shells, slow down in the water and then hit the citadel. I freaking overpinned a Smolensk with a Hindenburg from like 2 kilometers. That felt friggin' stupid. But yeah, like I don't know if it's a symptom of that or just people loving to be negative, but being a little bit more positive about these ships in the future, having a bit of better of an outlook, trying to find the silver lining in each ship. And not every ship has to be like an ultra competitive, super sweaty ship. There's a lot of fun to be had. Like Palmer, it's great, and outside of like a 1v1 or a 2v2 or a 3v3 brawl situation, it's not an ultra competitive ship, but it is for sure a fun ship. Just like Odin. Odin's not really competitive, again, unless it's like a small format brawl mode. It's not really competitive, but it sure is a blast to play. Siegfried too. Other examples that aren't German. Hood. I really like Hood. Not a very competitive ship, but I really like to play it. Vanguard too. The Missouri isn't really competitive anymore, but it's still fun to play. Georgia is competitive, but it is a fun ship too. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, there's more to a ship than just having the best DPM, having the cookie cutter utility and tools for its line, like with the German DDs and Hydro. Just look for the bright side of ships, guys. Look for the fun. This is a game. It's supposed to be fun. Not every ship is supposed to be ultra competitive, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Just a topic I wanted to talk with you guys about today. I know it's a bit more of a rambly video, and people don't really like when I kind of talk all over the place and stuff, but I just felt like making this video, and it's how I talk. I'm from the South. It takes us 15 minutes to say goodbye when we're leaving. But anyway, guys, I won't take 15 more minutes to say goodbye. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Just an idea that came to my head when I was playing in Palmer. But yeah, share your thoughts with us down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 25,000 subscribers, and we just passed 23,000 a few days ago. That is awesome. Can't thank you guys enough for that. I also am doing another giveaway at 25,000. So when we get there, make sure to check around for that video. Anyway, guys, hope you're having a great Thursday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.